The First World War, ending in 1918, left deep scars on the global landscape. The Treaty of Versailles, intended to secure lasting peace, instead fostered resentment and economic instability, particularly in Germany. Punitive reparations and territorial losses fueled a sense of national humiliation, creating fertile ground for extremist ideologies. The global economic depression of the 1930s further exacerbated these tensions, making nations susceptible to strongman leaders. The rise of fascism in Italy and Nazism in Germany, characterized by aggressive nationalism, further destabilized the international order. The League of Nations, intended to prevent future conflicts, proved ineffective, hampered by its lack of enforcement power. Japan's invasion of Manchuria in 1931 and subsequent actions in China signaled a growing disregard for international norms. The policy of appeasement adopted by Britain and France ultimately backfired, emboldening Hitler and leading to further aggression. As the world hurtled towards war, alliances began to solidify. The Axis powers, led by Germany, Italy, and Japan, formed a pact based on mutual interests of territorial expansion. These nations shared a disdain for democratic values and a belief in their own superiority. On the other side, the Allied powers, led by Great Britain, France, the United States, and the Soviet Union, coalesced around resisting Axis aggression. The early stages of the war saw a series of swift Axis victories, demonstrating the effectiveness of their military strategies. Germany's blitzkrieg tactics quickly overran much of Europe, with the fall of France in 1940 leaving Britain isolated. Despite early setbacks, the Allied powers remained resolute in their commitment to resisting Axis aggression. The Battle of Britain in 1940 became a turning point, demonstrating the resilience of the British people and their Royal Air Force. The attack on Pearl Harbor by the Japanese on December 7, 1941, brought the United States into the war, dramatically shifting the balance of power. The entry of the United States, with its vast industrial capacity, proved to be a decisive factor in the eventual Allied victory. The Battle of Stalingrad, fought from 1942 to 1943, marked the beginning of the Soviet Union's push westward. The D-Day landings in Normandy on June 6, 1944, opened a second front in Europe, marking the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe. The success of the D-Day landings was a major turning point, leading to the eventual defeat of Germany. World War II had a devastating impact on civilian populations across the globe. Millions of people were displaced from their homes, becoming refugees or fleeing to other nations. The war disrupted economies, causing widespread poverty and hardship. The Holocaust, the systematic genocide of Jews and other minority groups by the Nazi regime, stands as one of the darkest chapters in human history. The war also witnessed the widespread use of forced labor, with millions conscripted to work in factories and other industries. The constant threat of bombing raids and military operations created a climate of fear and uncertainty for civilians. Cities were reduced to rubble and families were torn apart. The experiences of civilians during World War II serve as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict. The war in Europe ended with Germany's unconditional surrender on May 8, 1945, marking VE Day. In the Pacific Theater, the war continued until August 1945. The United States, facing a protracted invasion of Japan, used atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Japan's surrender on August 15, 1945, brought an end to World War II. The world emerged from the war transformed, with new political alliances and shifting global power dynamics. The devastation caused by the war was immense, with cities in ruins and economies in shambles. The world faced the daunting task of rebuilding and recovering from the widespread destruction. The aftermath of the war saw the emergence of new international organizations, including the United Nations. The end of World War II marked the beginning of a new era in international relations. The United Nations, established in 1945, aimed to prevent future conflicts by fostering international cooperation. The UN Charter outlined principles including maintaining international peace, promoting human rights, and upholding international law. The war also led to the emergence of the Cold War, a rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. The Cold War, characterized by an arms race and proxy wars, shaped international relations for decades. The war's impact on technology and medicine was profound, with advancements like antibiotics and jet propulsion. The lessons learned from World War II continue to resonate today, reminding us of the dangers of hatred and the importance of international cooperation. The legacy of World War II continues to shape our understanding of the past and inform our efforts to build a more peaceful future.